Welcome to Hatchfoot Economics. And it's your girl Connie. You already know that already by now. And this is my page for economic empowerment and financial achievement. And I did my video yesterday on Black women under attack. You can see it right here. And I got attacked. But I love it. I love it. I love the debate. And there's one thing I just want to make sure that everyone knows. I am completely fact-based. I take my time. I do research. This is why you're not seeing my face. This is why you're seeing Diane Sawyer, whoever she is, Cynthia McFadden, because I want to make sure when I give you information, you can trust my integrity, you can trust my accountability and my fairness. So even this short report I want to review, I see this is one of the biggest videos, and I was actually sent this video by one of my male friends who happens to be African American. So, yesterday we talked about Serena, and a lot of people were upset that she married a white guy, and you had people supporting her back and forth. But I want to get to the facts of it. I don't think it has to be this complicated. I really don't think it has to be this complicated. I think it's a lot of common sense factors, but people, when they get emotional and they see certain things like a white guy with a black girl, they get triggered. And people are not fact-based. People are emotional-based. And I just want to say this. I really and truly feel like the internet is a great tool, social media, blah, blah, blah. But there's way too many people putting the camera in front of their face and talking with no factual backing. And I want to get rid of that. I want to be completely fair. I don't want to be biased. I'm going to present facts to you. And just so you know, when I actually, whenever you see me get facts, I try to get government-based data or institutions that are not backed by Democrats, Republicans. Like, I like using the Census Bureau. I like using the natural resources. I like using the Defense for disease control, stuff like that. I don't like to get opinion pieces because that's what they are. So I try my best to bring you the facts. So please watch this video with me. Again, I seriously think Black women are under attack, part 2. And you're going to see why. You're going to see why. Okay? So watch this with me.
A baby carriage, to paraphrase those famous lyrics, but for millions of Black women, many blessed with brains and beauty, finding the right man is proving elusive. But why? Are their standards too high, or are the pickings too slim?
So before we even continue, I'm just going to let you know I will be interjecting, because you're just not here to watch a video. You're here to watch me talk or hear me talk. But even from the beginning, it's like Black women are not supposed to have standards, or are their standards too high in regards to what? If they're accomplished and they're educated, is asking for an equal partner standards too high? I just had to say that because she's setting the frame for it. So I don't like the fact that already she's saying, are their standards too high? Let the Black women talk and examine their standards and examine what they're looking for and look at the demographics and the statistics of it. Don't already say, are their standards too high? Because we're the only race of women that when we have any kind of qualifications or assessments you want to put people through, oh my God, their standards are high. Okay, let's go.
Davis tried to answer that question.
Birthday! Cheers! Make a wish.
Nicole Marchand is celebrating another birthday. At 31, she's accomplished a lot. She's a prosecuting attorney and running for state court judge.
It'll be a $500 fine.
Nicole isn't the kind of woman you'd find standing by on the sidelines of life. But you would find her here, at the Georgia Dome, cheering on the Atlanta Falcons. You've heard of a man's man. Nicole is the quintessential man's woman. She appears to have it all, and yet she's still single. 42% of Black women have never been married. That's double the number of never married white women.
So right there, I want to look at the fact. I looked it up. That's actually correct. So, I did my own nerd check. What do I use? What do I use? I use the Census Bureau. So from right there, there's a demographic, geographic, and actually mathematical problem. So it can't be that 42% of Black women suck. You have to realize this. And it can't be that double the number of white women are better. So you just have to just continue watching. But whenever you see these percentages, I really want you guys to pay attention, write it down so you can do your own research.
I look forward to the day. I look forward to being married. It's just not that easy. For starters, there are more Black women than Black men.
All right, so I actually looked into that research. Is it true? Actually, their research is much more generous. A lot of people in the comments for ABC Nightline, they came for this reporter. Actually, they should be thanking her because when I did my math, it's more than 1.8 million. It's actually 2 million more women than Black men. And if you look at what she did, she was actually generous. She used every single Black man in America, whether they were in jail, whether they were in poverty, whether they were incarcerated for rape or murder and they're just never getting out, whether they were gay or straight, whether they were not even available for marriage. So I actually dug deep into this number. So you guys know I'm not just relying on ABC Nightline, which is a reputable, it's a reputable media agency. It's reputable. But I wanted to make sure I took my time and reviewed it. So she's not accounting for Black men who didn't graduate from high school. And I don't think it's unreasonable for a Black woman who was a doctor, a lawyer, or even remotely accomplished to say she's not going to date somebody who didn't graduate high school. And what you need to understand also is that you date within your social circles. And this is a part where Black women might stop following me. Black women, the reason why you see so many successful Black men with white women is not because white women are better. You date who's in your circle. And unfortunately, when you go to the corporate world, I'm an HR director. I'm the only Black person in my entire office. Okay? So when a Black man reaches a certain level, it's not because he's choosing Becky. Beckys are abundant. You're outnumbered. Unless he makes a conscious decision to go to a Black circle or makes a conscious decision to not work in an environment that's predominantly white, which he actually has no control over, you're going to see Black men with white women. I saw this when I was working in retail. I saw this when I was working as a manager. I said, wow, there's for every Black woman, there's 50 white women. And the white guy or the Black guy that's there are more white women available. There's more white women in those high power roles. So I never ever got offended. And Black women say, oh, he should still go for me. No, you're going to date who's in your social circle. You're going to date who you're surrounded by. If you're working in corporate and the majority of men are white, you might end up with a white man. And that's something that is statistical, demographic. It's common sense. So when you see a lot of Black guys, oh, they got Black white women, it's because if he's reaching a certain pinnacle of education, a certain pinnacle of success, the circle of Black women and even Black men gets smaller and smaller. You date who's in your circle, who's in your network. Let's continue.
1.8 million more. So even if every Black man in America married a Black woman today, 1 out of 12 still wouldn't make it down the aisle. Let's take 100.
Okay, let's rewind that one more time because I know
more. So even if
I'm going to rewind it one more time. I want to make sure because this is a part where I don't think Black people are listening. I don't think Black people are listening. Bumbleclot. Listen to what she just said. This is a fact. Actually, her numbers are more generous than mine. My math put it at a 4 to 6% difference. It's about 2 million more Black women than Black men. And yes, I left in people that I shouldn't have left in because I'm trying to make it not look that bad. So let's watch this one more time. One more time, okay?
That's double the number of never married white women. I look forward to the day. I look forward to being married. It's just not that easy. For starters, there are more Black women than Black men. 1.8 million more.
Did you guys hear that? 1.8 million more. But that's not even correct because Connie did the math. I actually went to black demographics because I'm a psycho. Yes, when it comes to stuff, I'm a psycho. So black demographics is a black engineered website for African Americans that's fueled with data from the Census Bureau. You know, the United States Census Bureau? You can't get any more fact check than that. And they actually broke down, here's all the men in the United States, 151.7 million. And here's all the black men in the United States, 21.5 million. Then I went to African American women. Let's see. There's 23.5 million black females out of all the females in the United States. 23.5, and the total population of females 127.3. Okay, according to the official estimates from the U.S. Census Bureau, the black female population in the United States was 23.5 in 2013. That is 52% of the total black population compared to black males who make up 48% of the black population, and it hasn't changed. It's been growing steadily. So even if you married every guy in jail, in prison, incarcerated, no high school degree, you would still have 1 out of every 13, not 12, black women unmarried. And I don't know why people can't hear that. It is almost evil to me. It is an attack because if you're a black woman and you are educated and you're nice and you're Christian, you're going to church and you're doing everything, you're going to actually start having low self-esteem. You're going to be sensitive. You might get depressed. You might have anxiety because you might say, what the F is wrong with me? When in reality, there's nothing wrong with you. There's not enough men because these reports are not even talking about jail. They're not even talking about people who didn't graduate high school. And if you're going to tell me as an African American woman that me wanting a man who went to who graduated from high school, me wanting a man who didn't go to jail, or me wanting a man who hasn't been convicted for a violent crime, or me wanting a man who's in the same ambition cycle. Because remember, I'm the one who says you don't need college to be successful. I'm a living proof of that. But you do need persistence, you need organization, you need discipline, you need passion. It's not easy being an entrepreneur because there's no one to wake you up and baby you. So this is why, her actual program was much more generous. Because when I accounted for people in jail, because you can't date people in jail, that is a ridiculous concept. Okay, let me get back to the video. But I just want to show you guys where I get my information from. I'm not just pulling shit out of my ass. This is actually a pro-black website that uses the Census Bureau statistics to educate African Americans about statistics for black men. Okay? So we're going to go further. I'm going to show you the rest after the rest of the video.
So even if every black man in America married a black woman today, 1 out of 12 still wouldn't make it down the aisle. Let's take 100 black men. If you eliminate those without a high school diploma, those without a job, and the number of black men between the ages of 25 and 34 who are incarcerated, that leaves only about half of black men eligible to pop the question. Nicole sees the problem every day.
All right, so I don't understand the controversy. I know what math and percentages mean. I'm starting to question if African Americans have issues with math. Listen, I was a C student with math. Math was not my top subject. And this is why I took my time. I'm starting to question, did African Americans understand the first 2 minutes of this video? Because it clearly shows you data, data, data. You can't argue with that. And she accounted for that. And you're not going to have enough eligible black men. And that's why I'm trying to tell black women, you have to open your options. Rather than stay and become the bitter, angry black woman, rather than get that coochie fossil that I keep talking about, when your vagina gets fossilized because you're not using it, and they got to put it in the Natural History Museum, and it gets dust on it, and the tour group walks by and says, this used to be a vagina. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. No one, black or white, black men or white women. If you find somebody you love, freaking marry them. If you think they can tolerate you for the next 60 years, freaking marry them. I don't understand how anyone can watch this video and say anything negative against these women. There's no male black prosecutors for her. There's very few black men at those levels. And studies also show that when black men attain more education, more finance, he's open to swirling too. I'm not mad at him. It makes sense because you are going to associate with what you see around you. So let's continue.
It is sad to see that the majority of the defendants that we prosecute are black males. Those numbers can be very disappointing.
Admittedly, the selection of men is slim.
Get it through your head. You're the Friday girl that's just for sex. That's what you are.
We broach this serious dilemma with comedian turned relationship guru Steve Harvey, author of the book Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man.
And I just want to stop the video again. This is how it's going to go, okay? This is how it's going to go. So I hope you guys are enjoying my mouth. Steve Harvey has made millions off of the quagmire of the black woman. And what makes me feel attacked is after studying the economics and the social demographics, we are being lied to. You need to tell black women the truth. There's not enough black men. And when you see a black man holding a Spanish girl's hand or Hispanic girl's hand or Asian or Indian, this is why black women want to kill some black men because they feel betrayed. But if more black women knew the mathematical truth, that is just not statistically enough to go around, this situation would resolve itself. But instead, you have people making millions of dollars off of the quagmire, off of the mystery, off of the X-Files of the black woman. And it's just not right because when you see this, other men who may want to date black women may say, oh my God, I'm not going to date, Connie. If nobody wants her, why should I? It's not about nobody wants me. It's the fact that you're not there. Mathematically, the numbers don't add up. You have to realize when this lady said 1.8 million, she actually left in high school dropouts. She left in people who are incarcerated. She left in people convicted of crimes. I'm not even talking about college because, again, I don't believe you need college. You need ambition. A lot of billionaires didn't graduate from college. So I'm not one of those hung up on that. I'm not impressed by college. I went to an Ivy League. I have a master's. It does absolutely nothing if you want economic empowerment and financial freedom. That's why I made Hatchput Economics. But I get a little bit saucy when I see books like this that doesn't talk about the fact there's just not enough black men. There's not enough. And it's okay. There's other races. There's other people. There's other planets. We haven't gotten that far yet. But it doesn't have to be like this. This is ridiculous. So unless you're going to share the community penis, there has to be a way. Unless you're going to go back to Africa and recruit a husband and bring him back to America, I don't know what's happening here. And then you might have them African women in Nigeria trying to throw a fucking feather in your neck because that's their men. So let's go ahead.
Are still a lot of good men out there who are being overlooked.
Harvey says black women don't have to settle, but may need to compromise.
You a corporate exec? Does he have to be a corporate exec? You make $150,000 a year. He has to make $150,000.
Harvey, that's not the point. The point is the number one demographic in terms of divorce is money. What man wants to be the woman in the relationship? What man is not going to work? Money is the number one reason why we divorce in this country. And it's because once you reach a certain educational or economical or financial status, it's just a different world. And men are much more sensitive to it. Men are the ones who want to feel like a man. So it's not about, oh, he has to have the same amount of money as me. And it's about ambition and it's about social circles. What's a prosecutor going to do dating someone who didn't graduate from high school? Or what's a doctor going to do dating someone who works at Walmart? You're putting the weight of burden that Black men haven't gotten their education. They haven't gotten into those circles. They haven't been networking. You're not going to fix the problem. And I'm so passionate. I actually want to fix the problem. But you can't fix it when you deny the numbers. Unless you sit down there as a Black man and say, hey, get your shit together. You're smart. Start your own business. You're smart. Open up a couple of laundromats. You're smart. Be like George Jefferson. Open a couple of dry cleaners. You know what? You're smart. Be like Sanford and Son. Open a junkyard. Do something. But the way you continue to keep placating and just new woo woo woo, it's gonna be okay. That's not helping Black men. It's not. Do you know who sent me this video? My friend, who's a Black male, who agreed with it. Because you know why he's pissed? I don't want to blow him up because he might see this and say, Connie, F you. But he's pissed because he is a graduate. He is an engineer. And he is in a white-dominated tech world. And he told me, Connie, I'm trying to get this promotion, son. I'm trying to move up, but ain't no brothers up there to help me. He has no networking, nobody to back him in meetings, because you need that person to stomp for you. When you're trying to get promoted, you need that person to stomp for you. And Billy ain't trying to stomp for Daquan. Billy trying to stomp for, Bobby. He's not trying to stomp, and rightfully so. So he's pissed off because he says we need more brothers in tech. We need more brothers on Wall Street. We need more brothers, as a C-level executives. Now he's to a certain point. He did everything right and he can't get up there. So he was like, instead of Black men saying, no, get your ass in there. Nobody can hustle like a Black guy. You guys like to hustle. Get your ass in there. People like Steve Harvey are not helping you.
Or above? That's your requirement? If your requirement sheet is ridiculous, you have to look at it.
What we looked at were the large numbers of professional Black women who groomed themselves for success with BAs, MDs, and JDs. 70% of them are still without the more elusive title, MRS.
So far, they keep putting the answer in your face. The answer are, there are no Black men in these circles. Black women make up the majority of people in the Black community who are educated. Black women make up the majority of the people in the community who got a master's, who got a PhD, who got their JD. It's not funny. And it's like, I'm watching this and I'm like, is anyone going to say, let's do more math? How many Black men are in those fields? How many Black men are prosecutors? How many Black men are lawyers? How many Black men are in these? It's not enough to cover the other Black women who are in there twice as much or more. I can show you right now. Let's go to Black demographics, okay? So we're going to look at education. And again, this information was pulled for the United States Census Bureau. In 2013, about 57% of Black women 25 and older attended college, although only 31% completed at least an associate's degree, compared to 60% of all women who attended college, of which 39% completed a degree. Black women have been more successful than Black men in closing the gap when it comes to college degrees. About 22% of Black women have a bachelor's degree compared to 30% of all women. That's pretty good. Also, the number of Black women who finish high school but did not pursue higher education is about the same as it is for all women at 27% compared to 28% respectively. The percent of Black women who have an associate's degree, 9%, is equal to that of all women, 9% in America. Only 15% of Black women over 25 did not complete high school, which is slightly higher than all women. So they're more educated than all women. Black people have been going hard, okay, at this education statistic. Now look what happens when you go to Black men. Please note, this is a Black demographic website. It is a pro-Black site that pulls data from the United States Census Bureau so you can understand it easier, okay? And the biggest sorry. In 2013, about 48% of black men 25 and older attended college, although half of them did not complete a degree, compared to 58% of all men who attended college. Just under half no degree. All right, the chart is here so you guys can pause the video and look at it. The biggest disparity between black men and all men in America is those who have a bachelor's. Only 17% of black men have a bachelor's degree, compared to 30% of all men. Second is the number of black men who finished high school but did not pursue a higher education, 35% compared to 28% of all men. The percentage of black men who have an associate degree is 7%, is equal to that of all men, 7% in America. Only 18% of black men and over did not complete high school. This is still a higher than the number of men of all races and ethnic groups. So it's not hard to see, and you can look here, lower employment rates, lower participation in the labor force. You can just look and see, why a black woman would have tough times. And you're talking about jail, you're talking about they're just not available. You're talking about education, they didn't graduate high school, and now we're talking about the fact that these guys are not even in that circle. So it's not, oh my God, it's just basic logistics. They're just not there. So let's go watch the rest of the video.
I would be lying if I said that I don't have fleeting thoughts of, okay, I'm 32, my clock is ticking.
The tick-tock of the biological clock is getting louder for several of Nicole's single friends. Meet Chateau Waters. She's a 32-year-old high school counselor pursuing a doctorate degree in psychology.
We have this thing called the black girl curse. A lot of our white friends are married by 25, like happily married, kids by 27, and we're like, what is the deal with the BGs?
So I don't understand why I read some of the comments and they said these girls are stuck up. Why? Because education equals to stuck up? No, that's not wrong. They're talking about a very blunt dynamic. The reason why white men and white women get married is there is a stronger culture of marriage. What everyone is avoiding is they're assuming all these black men want to get married. There's a broken culture of marriage in the black community. Black men are more open to having kids before they're open to marriage. Now, we can sit here and debate the reasons why, but I'm not about debating. I'm here to present the facts. I got my receipt, son, my receipt. So that's what I'm talking about. And these ladies are smiling, they're bubbling, they want to be courted, they want to feel feminine. If not, they would have been married. They would have been aggressive, going after any guy they can find. These are classy ladies. Because I'm going to tell you something. When white girls see a guy they want, they don't play around. When white girls, and that's another thing, they're very assertive. A lot of these black women tend to be very traditional. I'm not going to lie, so am I. I want the guy to ask me out. I want the guy to ask me for my number. I want the guy to come up to me. As long as I'm smiling, I'm making eye contact, I'm entertaining you with a conversation, I don't see why you shouldn't ask me for my number. If I'm a bitch and I'm not looking at you and I'm like, come on, son, breeze off. If I'm acting crazy, that's completely different, but that's not the case here.
And it's the black girl.
Jaqueen Ashford is a chemist for a pharmaceutical company. Now that she's 34, she's lowered the bar when it comes to height requirements.
I don't have a certain criteria, like if you're not 6'5", and I used to, but then as I got older, I said, okay, well maybe if you're 6'3", 6'2", 6'1", okay, maybe we could see eye to eye. I kind of have certain standards that I hold myself to, and I don't feel like I should have to settle on those for the sake of having somebody. I'm willing to wait.
So her outlandish request that made her get all these negative comments in YouTube is fucking height. You got dudes that won't bang a girl if her ass is not fat. You got guys that won't talk to a girl if she's 20% over her ideal body weight. She has a right if she likes tall men. There's tall men of every race. But if she doesn't realize the situation, what's happening with black men, yes, that's actually pretty stupid because the average black guy is 5'8" to 5'9". If she's using that statistic for all men, that's smart. But once you say black men only, that's pretty silly.
Like many black men, she's also open to dating outside her race. In fact, in the past decade, the number of black women entering interracial marriage has more than doubled.
And this is what you're going to continue to see. Black men also have been way ahead of black women in interracial dating. Way ahead. I looked last year, did a review, and last year, out of all the black men that got married, about 25% of them were non-black women. And I give them a hand. Do what makes you happy. I don't understand the lies people have. Let me just pause the fact thing. What kind of lives do you guys have? Because I'm very jealous. What kind of lives do you have that you can be so petty and so involved in the personal choices people make that doesn't directly affect you? You're not going to pay your mortgage with my romance. You're not going to pay your school loan with my orgasms. I'm trying to understand why in the world do you care who I put in bed at night or what I put in bed at night. Find your own happiness. Start a company, become an entrepreneur, build a legacy. Think about your family 50, 60, 200 years from now. Keep your name, dedicate yourself. I'm really jealous because unless these people have perfect lives and all this time to engage in other people's issues, I'm jealous. Because I barely have time to do all the crap that I need to do in a day between studying and working as an HR director and working as a wedding planner and an event planner and a proposal planner and doing medical sales and doing real estate. I barely have life to scratch my eyeball. So when I see women like this and men like this, not particularly in this video, but in this YouTube comments for this ABC Nightline video, criticizing these women, what are you? Worry about your life. Worry about your life. If you want to be concerned about the facts. Get to know the facts. This is why Donald Trump is president, because people don't listen to the facts. They listen to sensationalism. That's what sells. And the facts are there's not enough black men for black women. And also, when you take into account whether you're a black man or a black woman, when you go into a very successful circle or field, predominantly, this is a white country. The majority of people in this country are white. Black people only make up 12 to 13% of the entire United States population. Let me say it again. Black people only make up 12 to 13% of the entire United States population. Did you know that? What a mercy. Did you know that? Did you know that we are not a majority? I think sometimes black men and black women forget this is a white country. Hello, wake up. You cannot be in America with a predominantly white country and say, holy crap, she's married to a black guy or a white guy. It's ridiculous. If you feel that way, black man, if you feel that way, black woman, there are 54 nations on the continent of Africa. Pick one and move your bomber cart. Pick one. It doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to go back over here again. We're going to try to finish this video.
In fact, last night was at a restaurant. Had a great conversation with this Caucasian gentleman. I mean, we were vibing, we were clicking. I'm thinking, he's gonna ask for my number. White men never ask for my number. And he was like, all right, well.
Let me pause it for you, sister. You see, I told you I'm fair. You're stupid. White men don't ask for your number because it's not a very common thing for black girls to date white men. You should have got that number. You should have been like, hey, you know what? What's going to happen to you? Nothing's going to happen to you. He probably was scared. You probably were scared. Interracial relationships are nerve-wracking. So she should have asked for the number. I don't think she's stuck up, but she's like me. She's like me. I'm very traditional. I was raised old school. My parents have been married for 40 years. They're old school Jamaicans. So, I understand the culture. I understand the lack of being assertive. But if that was a white chick with a black man, she would have put her underwear in an envelope, sprayed some Victoria's Secrets, and it would have been a wrap. She would have been pregnant the second phone call.
Oh, great conversation. Maybe I'll see you around. I was thinking, what happened?
Ask for his.
No.
Bossy black girls were maybe not as coveted as black men in society.
Melinda Watson.
And she said something she said, we're not as coveted as black men in society. And it's true. Black women are seen just as masculine as black men because that's the racial undertone. I hate that thing, strong black woman. It's like we're some type of Amazon third gender. We're not feminine. So you are not coveted. It's not about something's wrong with us. It's a racial stigma. Unfortunately, that racial stigma works in the black man's, it works in his pleasure. Strong, masculine, big. These are all things that come back from slavery days when you used to work them in the field and bust their ass. So this is something, okay, they're strong. Look at the NBA, look at the NFL, predominantly black. Whenever it's a sport that's physical, you see big, strong black men. So that kind of rubbed off on black women. And we're not seen as feminine, demure, and gentle, and soft. And these are all very attractive traits to any man. So that's the issue.
Is a 28-year-old payroll specialist. She hasn't had an exclusive relationship since college.
I just feel that there's a lot of taboo associated with dating black women because I don't think they're necessarily going to want to take us home to see mama.
The consensus in this group,
And that's another factual thing. A lot of other races, they're not there yet. Even if the white guy, the Spanish guy, the black guy, even if they take us home, sometimes it's just not the sense of, oh my God, I got a black girlfriend. I can't wait to marry her. A lot of other races that are not black, they experience that because one of my best friends is Indian and she scoops up white guys like nobody's business. And I had Asian friends and I've had white girls. It's a racial stigma thing. And I truly feel because of social media, Facebook came out in 2008, because of Instagram, now white men and other non-black men are being exposed excessively to features like lips, hips, booties, butts, and black hair that before you didn't have access to. So now there's going to be a more cultured, a more in-depth version of exotic beauty. So I do think social media is changing. I do think that it's an impact. That's why you're seeing girls running around getting fake asses. That's why you're seeing people running around getting lips. It's a different world.
was that their preference is to marry a black man. It's not that they can't find one to date. The issue in many cases is exclusivity.
You meet these great guys, you have good relationship, good rapport, and then it's almost like, I'm going to keep you around.
So listen to what they just said. I don't think people who watch this video understand verbs. And I'm not trying to be an asshole. She said exclusivity. So we're going to rewind it a little bit and we're going to play because I need you guys to listen to this video.
Exclusivity.
You meet these great guys, you have good relationship, good rapport, and then it's almost like, I'm going to keep you around and hopefully when I'm ready.
So you're seeing the effects of any normal guy. And black women, you might get mad at me again. The reason why black women struggle with black men in being exclusive is why? Why would you? If I'm a black guy and there's more black women that are, there are more black women than black men, I can keep a couple in rotation. I'm going to tell you something. That's the biggest it's the biggest quagmire is that you cannot be exclusive. I see people treat being committed in a relationship like a marriage. Oh, girl, he asked to be his girlfriend. And females are 42 and saying this. So this is what I'm trying to understand. Like, how could you watch this video and understand words and verbs? And I know words. I don't understand how you could watch this video and be like, well, these bitches. They're not bitches. They're actually really pleasant. They're actually really cute. And I'm trying to understand if they're not exclusive, that's an effect of having too much women in the market. When you have too many women in a male-dominated market, this also happens to white guys. You'll hear white men in New York saying the market is saturated with vagina. And that's why marriages take longer in bigger cities because they have more of a female population. And whenever the population is even or in the women's favor, you don't have these problems. Jesus Christ, God put the holy water on me. Why are people so freaking dumb? This is not a problem that should be emotional. I need people who are intelligent. Look at the demographics. Holy crap. Are we that stupid in America? Listen, If you go to Texas, Texas is known as a man haven because there's more men than women. If you go to Washington, D.C., Washington, D.C. is known as a man haven because there's more men than women. You have to look at the demographics. And a lot of times, these women who are prosecutors, a chemist, a high school, they're aiming for big cities and big salaries, and they don't know the statistics. They don't know that the reason why the black man is not exclusive is why the fuck should he be? If I'm a black guy, all these girls on the table, no homo, no homo, all these girls on the table are fine. I wouldn't pick one. I would date all of them all. I would do whatever I want. And then when I get old and my balls are starting to drop a little bit, then I might pick one. But there's absolutely no need. And when I do pick one, I'm not going to pick the girls that are in my age range. I might go back 10, 20 years. Because why the fuck not? Har, har, har. Why not? So that's the real thing. Like, there are so many hints in this video. It makes me crazy. It's to someone that's an economic person and a finance person like me and a business person, and I'm a freaking nerd and I have no life. And when I watch these videos, I think I see it in an eclectic way. I don't see it like you. I see the numbers and they pop out at me. And I'm like, am I the only person interpreting this video in this way, in a fact manner? Let's play.
To settle down, you'll be there.
That's the back pocket girl.
The back pocket girl.
And every now and then they'll check in with you to make sure you're still single.
You're not married?
Right.
Are you still single?
Right.
You still waiting on me? No, not really.
Chateau has a
So that was an important part. They're attracting the few black men. They're settling. They're settling. They're settling. And these black guys are checking on them. And if you're a black woman and you're going to tell me you haven't had that experience with a black man, then you're lying, or you're a plant, or you're a cactus, or you're some type of inanimate object, because I had an experience. And like I said, is it really his fault when the market is saturated with vagina? It's like any type of precious thing. If there's too much of it, the value drops. So the value has dropped because there's a disproportionate amount of quality black women. You have an abundance of black women getting an education, getting degrees, being advanced, being polished. Why should he settle? Why? Not settle, but settle down. So let me watch the rest of this.
Hasn't been in a committed relationship in more than a decade.
If you have 4 quality women that you're dating,
Exactly.
and, they're in rotation,
Exactly.
I mean, who's going to rush into a marriage?
Exactly.
We decided to ask Mr. Harvey for advice. He listened as we asked our single ladies about their requirements.
So
I had a list.
I just want to stop again. So he's doing this requirements bullshit when these women are saying they're dating black men. They're in rotation with black men. There's no exclusivity with black men. So if they were such bitches, they wouldn't have any dating options. They wouldn't have any type of relationship, even with the lack of commitment. Because I know women like that. I know a couple of icy bitches whose vaginas are like penis reflectors, and they attract absolutely no men because they're so arrogant and they're so nasty that the only way they get a guy is when they go out and they get drunk and they get laid. So I have an issue with Steve Harvey, who's been married 3 times. He has actually benefited from the vagina overflow. He's been married 3 times. He has benefited from the vagina overflow. So it's hard for me to look at this guy, and he's so focused on blaming the women, their requirements. Let me tell you something. If one of these black guys would come up to them with a ring, they could have 1 foot, 1 leg, 1 eye, them bitches would marry them. Excuse the language. They would marry them. So let's just stop the crap. Let's just stop the crap and let's stick to the facts.
Of about 50 things that I would keep in my Bible. It's now down to about 10.
Honesty.
Supportive, financially stable.
Now, granted, I'm 31, so he needs to be at a certain stage. What do you consider a deal breaker?
If there's not that initial chemistry, it's never going to work. I don't care if you have every quality on my list.
Exactly. These girls are talking basic shit. And if you listen to white women and their requirements, if you listen to white women who are at this level of a prosecutor, a doctor, a lawyer, a chemist, someone getting their doctorate, white women are mad smooth with it because they get what they want. And because it's available. So you can't sit here and judge these women who are completely, I think they're so adorable. I don't sense any attitude. They're smiling. I didn't see no neck motion, woo woo. I didn't see no neck, like the back and forth. I call that the Knight Rider neck. When they waving their neck back and forth, woo woo, woo woo. Well, you probably don't know what Knight Rider is because that's a while ago. That's what I grew up with, Kit. Well, anyway.
I'm not going to talk to you if I'm not attracted to you.
Right.
Are they asking too much?
So maybe it's just that we want it all.
Single ladies. Throw your hands up. How y'all doing?
His initial reaction?
Well, all y'all fine. Hell, who don't want to go out with y'all? Men my age have made a mistake in that we didn't teach the generation behind us the principles of manhood.
Thank you, Steve Harvey. Thank you for saying that. That's what I don't understand. Why this video has 84 thumbs down. Why the comments. Black people, you're giving me a headache. Listen to all the trends in the video. We talked about the demographics. We talked about not having the right people in the right places. We talked about even if every single solitary black man got married to every single solitary black woman, they would still be 1.8 million. And that's actually incorrect. It is 2 million because I did the math myself and I fact checked this video. We're talking about the fact that these black women haven't had committed relationships, means that they're having sex and sleeping with guys who they cannot call their own. This is not good. This is not good. And then on top of it, Steve Harvey walks in and says, your requirements, but then he actually looks them in the face when he has to talk to them because they're all educated and say, hey, we fucked up. We didn't teach the men behind us to be men. We fucked up.
There are so many African American men missing, absent in the family.
His advice? Go for the older man.
So this is what makes me upset. Now you're telling, you know what? Why wasn't I born with a penis? I'm very upset now. Now, not only do black men get educated, beautiful women, now you're telling them that they get to have all these gorgeous women automatically younger. What a win. What a win. I'm not saying you can't date older men, but you should not be forced to. If you like older men, I do. I like all men. I don't care. That's just me. I'm a woman's man, woman, whatever. I love men. So, yeah, I don't understand why they're going to be forced to date older. How about you tell them, open your options. Steve, Harvey, even if they date older, it's not enough men. I love you. Even after Donald Trump, I still love you. I forgive you. I'm Catholic. I'm Christian. We forgive. I have no malice towards you. But you are too educated, too knowledgeable. You've been married 3 times. You know better than to tell these girls to date only older men. Come on. They're probably in a circle of older men with the fields they're in.
You have a biological clock. We don't.
While these women look forward to settling down, they're not willing to settle.
The one thing that I can't control is a man choosing to marry me. And so I choose not to worry about it.
Being that I've waited so long, I can't settle now. It's not an option for me.
I would love to be in a relationship.
So, what are the girls saying that's so wrong? They want someone that's exclusive, someone that wants to marry them, somebody who matches their ambitions, their passion, their goal. They have not said anything about he has to have a certain amount of money, because you don't have to talk about money if you mention ambition. If a guy has a certain amount of ambition, drive, perseverance, commitment, it's not even necessary to mention that. It's not necessary. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody says, Connie, what's your dream guy? If you can build a man, I would say strength, integrity, leadership, masculinity, ambition, I don't know what else. What else? Compassion, kind, affectionate. And normally people will stop me and say, he don't got to be rich. And I'm like, well, if you put all those qualities together, men like that never have to worry about money. So I don't understand.
Relationship, a marriage, but I don't feel that defines me. So if I don't find the perfect person for me, then I'll just remain single.
Exactly. And these women aren't asking for much. I wish I can show a video of white women, and I have it, but I'm not gonna. It's not about them. It's not about them, so I'm not gonna put them in there. So and show you how they're able to say they won't date a guy who doesn't have a master's. I have another video that I did that I think I need to redo it that shows that white women purposely go to Ivy League schools and bag Ivy League husbands so they can stay home with their Ivy League degree and be a super stay-at-home mom. And I'm not hating on them. I did a whole video on that. I did a whole report on that. And it's a well-known fact, especially if you live in New York City like me, you see them all the time. And nobody judges them. You know, these women are accomplished. And for anyone to say, oh, these bitches and they're arrogant, you're jealous because you're not accomplished. You're jealous because you're not there. You're because I'm not jealous. And I know gold digging when I see it. I know arrogance when I see these women are not. Their eye contact is great. They don't got the kitten woo woo Knight Rider neck going back and forth. You know, they're pretty cool, decent girls. And the facts are, the reports show that this is not something that is in their control. They have to open their options. They have to know what's going on. They have to marry out of their race. Unless you're comfortable with, 2 million black women just dying and getting coochie fossils, that's really freaking selfish. All right, so this is Connie for Hatchput Economics. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. And next, I'm going to be reviewing what happened with Drake here, because I think it's really funny the day after Serena gets married. It's been reported that Drake got a French porn star pregnant. So that's some of the juice there. And that's why I'm glad Serena made the choice she did. She will be leading, she'll be leaving her generational wealth, financial empowerment to her daughter through her husband. This is what it's all about. Financial stability, economic empowerment. It all starts with marriage and community. That's it. Thank you guys for watching.
I'm Lindsay Davis for Nightline in Atlanta, Georgia.